Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Maverick Mompreneur podcast. If you're a new listener, I am so glad you're here. And if you're a longtime listener who has been wondering, where the heck have I been? I am so glad that you are tuning in today. I am back on the mic and I am going to be back on the mic consistently. Oh boy, life has been lifing definitely over the past year and definitely the last month. I've had a lot going on in my personal life that I've had to prioritize over everything else. And if you're a mom and you've ever had anything going on with your kiddo, I'm sure you know what I mean. But as a solopreneur, that's been challenging. But I have the best community, the best clients who have been so flexible with me needing to move around dates. I'm not normally like that. And from a professional standpoint, that's been really uncomfortable, but I just feel so supported and grateful for the community that I have online, including you. So today I'm going to share a story that is something that I wish someone had told me when I was starting from zero and when I was rebuilding my business a few years ago. And it all came from an email that I got from someone who was thinking about purchasing one of my trainings and then went on to purchase a training. And they were open and honest and said things that a lot of people don't say out loud, but in the email, this person said, I've tried cold DMs, I've used all the AI tools, I've paid for leads, I have 30 plus digital products, and still I don't have any sales, and I'm hoping your strategy is the one that finally works. And then asked this question: how long did it take you to grow your following and what worked best for you? And so I spent time and I answered in a really lengthy email. And so today I'm going to go over the advice that I gave that person because I think it's applicable to more than just that individual. So whether you are just getting started or you are trying to rebuild something that's not working, this is the episode for you because we are going to be talking about what actually works now in 2025 to grow your brand and sell your digital products and offers. It has changed a ton, even from a couple of years ago. And so I'm going to give you some real talk, some honest advice, and I hope that you find this massively helpful. I'm Ashley, and this is the Maverick Mompreneur podcast, where you're free and encouraged to own your desire to create and scale an impactful, discoverable online brand and business, a business that's aligned with your mission, lifestyle desires, personality, and zone of genius without wasting your time on the hustle and grind hamster wheel that is social media. Can I get an amen? Sis, you are a maverick, an original, willing to stand out in your authenticity, defy expectations, and do life and business outside the box. In our world, if it's not aligned with who we are, it's a hard pass or a brave pivot. So if you're here for the powerful identity shift and transformation from boss babe or boss mom to aligned CEO, building a one-of-a-kind, influential, hustle-free online business that will produce long-term impact and multiple streams of income while building yourself in the process, well, pop in those AirPods, grab that cup of coffee or glass of wine, and let's get growing. So I want to take you back to the beginning when I first started out building a brand online. If you're an OG, you'll know my original brand was called Tailor Made Mama. And I had tailormademama.com. I was a mommy blogger and influencer. I had an Instagram account that I grew alongside of that blog. And I ended up growing an email list of over 10,000 in just a little bit over a year. And so I wanted to share with you what I did at that time to grow that list and how some things are different, but some things are still the same. And so I want to give you the what's working now and then what isn't working now so that you are not using outdated strategies, because sometimes people are out there coaching on things that literally brought them success 5-10 years ago, and that is not what's bringing them success now. And so I want to always make sure that I'm giving you the current info. Oh, and by the way, I do once monthly monthly What's Working Now trainings that are really in depth with slides and example shares and all of the bells and whistles in the Maverick Society membership. This month, the training is on what's working now as far as memberships, and particularly with retention and reducing churn rate and all of that. So if that's of interest to you, I recommend that you jump in for at least the month of the membership, or longer if you would like. But you also get access to all of the previous What's Working Now training sessions, and those are to keep you up to date on best practices in ad campaigns, in copywriting, in marketing, in all the things that I am actually doing as a marketer and as a coach and as a digital course creator in real time, so that you are always up to date and not learning things that worked in the past that don't now. So I just wanted to give a little plug for the membership. That is always linked in the show notes, or you can always head to elevatedwithashley.com/membership. So back when I was mommy blogging, I posted on the blog once a week. I always gave value and offered a solution to a very specific problem. But the key here is that I always linked it to either a very, very low ticket digital product, something like a checklist or a printable for a toddler routine or a baby mom travel routine. I always linked it to a relevant lead magnet. So low ticket or free, that was something useful and something really easy to say yes to. That was an extension of that article that was already helping to solve a specific problem, whether that was me recommending a product that would be helpful to a new mom, whether that was me giving my experience and advice and kind of going ahead, if you will, and giving advice on how to, a lot of my posts were very popular around that time on traveling. So packing, traveling, and that is how I grew a list of over 10,000 people in about a year, maybe a year and a half organically. So no paid ads, no cold outreach. So what I want to mention here though, the important part to remember, no matter what your funnel setup is, no matter what your lead magnet is, your low ticket offer, your high ticket offer, whatever it is that you are offering, the important part is that you get eyeballs on those pages where someone is going to opt in, and how you do that is up to you. And that is what has changed a lot for me. Back in those days, I was heavily relying on search engine optimization. So particularly through leveraging Pinterest and then also SEO within my website. In those times, a lot of my articles were found that way. And so I leveraged Pinterest for traffic and also organic SEO just from search engines. And while Pinterest is definitely still an untapped resource, if you aren't leveraging Pinterest, I do recommend it still. What's been working best for me now is slightly different, but I wanted to mention that I scrapped that entire list of over 10,000 people because when I pivoted from the new mom influencer space into online business coaching, that list was not aligned with my brand and content now. And so even though I'd worked so hard to build that list, when I pivoted, I knew that although there was some crossover and definitely some of the original TaylorMade Mama subscribers are also moms with businesses that they market online. And so there has been some crossover, but I definitely scrapped almost the entire list because your list needs to be aligned with your brand now, not who you used to be or a niche that you've grown out of. And that was definitely a scary decision and felt kind of weird, but it was for sure the right one. Let's talk about what works now in 2025. We talked about what worked back in, let's say 2016 through 2019, 2020. So weekly blog posts, free challenges, lots of hustle, SEO. And what works now for me is the following. And this is how I generate leads and make sales in my business. So low ticket digital products. So the front end of my business is almost entirely low ticket priced digital products so that I'm building my list with buyers, not just subscribers or freebie seekers. And that's the foundation of my funnel and what I get you started with in the course Low Ticket Toolkit Method. You have to have a super high converting, useful, low ticket product. And I recommend my toolkit method for that. That's linked in the show notes always if you haven't checked that out. So leading with a low ticket digital product, I do have some freebies, but they are always set up as a tripwire funnel. So if it's something free on the front end, there's an upsell presented on the thank you page. But I find that what has worked best is promoting low ticket digital products on the front end and then creating an upsell funnel on the back end so that once someone has already made that buying decision, they are presented with multiple offers of mine that would build upon the result and enhance the result of that original product that they said yes to. What works now in 2025 that also worked then, this is an evergreen strategy that I've always used, but I've just gotten a lot better over the last, 8, 9, it's going to be a decade almost in business. Email sequences. So not just, hey, here's your freebie, access this, but real storytelling and connection that leads to a paid offer. I forgot to mention when this email came in from this individual last week asking me, how did you build your list? How did you make $5,000 from an email that you sent? I know that didn't happen overnight, and that's correct. It didn't happen overnight. It came from building trust through my email sequences, not from posting 3 times a day on Reels, not from lip syncing or dancing or any of that. It came from email sequences. So someone getting onto my list from a low ticket product and then purchasing a higher ticket item down the line because I built trust through my email sequences. So that's really important and what's working in 2025. What's also working in 2025, and this is no surprise, I'm sure, and I personally can't stand it, but short form content. So Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, those are what is driving attention and getting eyeballs on your offers, but the money and the sales are coming from what's going to be on the other side of that content. So your offer and your email system. So short form content to get attention, to get people to your landing page. But what is really going to drive the conversions is going to be your offer itself, your funnel, and your email being a large part of that funnel. What's also working now in 2025 for me, and this is something that has always worked for me, but I rely on it heavily still to this day, is repurposing. And when I say repurposing, I mean repurposing one idea, one major concept, and using that everywhere. So for example, this podcast is also a blog post. This has been a couple of social media posts. It's been an email, a couple of emails actually. It's been in my stories. And so expanding on ideas and using pieces of that idea everywhere has helped me a lot to stay focused and to really go deep within even my free content, which builds trust and authority. And then I'm not having to create a ton of different content and sort of popcorn style all over the place with tons of concepts for my audience. And then the last thing that is working now in 2025 to build my audience and increase my customer base is meta ads and SLO funnels. So SLO stands for self-liquidating offer funnels. And I think some people think, oh, running ads, you must have a lot of money to run ads. No, what you need is a self-liquidating offer funnel. So using a low ticket offer to fund your ad spend so that you are not coming out of pocket for your ads. And in fact, they can be profitable if you have a proper upsell funnel in place. And that's how I grow faster without losing money. And so the combination of a low ticket digital product on the front end of a upsell funnel. If you are interested in learning about how to build an upsell funnel, I have a course called Revenue Amplifier, and I will link that down in the show notes. That's the exact method I use to create that upsell funnel. Email sequences that sell, short form content, and repurposing. So taking one idea and using it everywhere. And then finally, meta ads and leveraging meta ads with self-liquidating offer funnels so that you can grow faster without losing money. And that is what is working now as far as growing my audience. And that's what I shared with this person who emailed. So I hope that's helpful for you too. I did want to give you a couple tangible steps that you can take, because if you're listening and you're feeling overwhelmed, you might be thinking, okay, well, what should I do next? So here's a couple of tangible steps that you could take depending on what you have and where you're at. Firstly, if you don't have a low ticket digital product, I want you to create a low ticket toolkit, and this should be priced between $7 and $27. You want to make it solve one specific problem and be hyper valuable for a low ticket price. And then this is your paid lead magnet. If you need help with that, check out Low Ticket Toolkit Method. It's my $17 product. I will link it in the show notes for you. The second thing, if you have a front end digital product that is a low ticket, or maybe take something that you have that's a freebie and make it $7, beef it up a little bit. You need to build an email sequence. So tell your story, connect the dots. Don't be afraid to sell, even if it is a low key pitch. You want to have a combination of both value and pitch emails, but make sure that you are connecting. Make sure you are solving problems and speaking to the issues that your ideal client has, and then positioning your offer as a logical next step if they're ready. Now, if you have an email sequence built on the back end of your funnel, you've got your low ticket digital product that's converting well. The next piece for you to focus on is to drive traffic. So pick one platform and post every day. Reference your toolkit, reference the items within your toolkit, talk about the outcome that your toolkit and the tools within it will bring for your ideal client. Share stories, show your face, drive traffic to that page. Now, if you don't want to pick one platform and be posting daily, then you can think about driving traffic through paid ads. And so that might be your next step. But regardless of which phase of building your audience and customer growth system you're in, give it time. So don't measure your success on how many likes or views or followers that you have. You want to measure it in the conversions that you have. It's a long game to put this together, but it does work. And if you are interested in just dipping your toe into this and you're really not ready for, say, the email marketing module of my passive digital product funnel lab, I suggest that you get started with the profitable email training that is inside the brand and online business toolkit. So you can actually check out the toolkit. That is my most high converting low ticket lead magnet. And it is chock full of so many amazing courses and resources and tools. But that profitable email training walks you through the exact email that I sent that made me $5,000 from a single email, and how I built the system that works for me now. And so you can find the brand and online business toolkit linked in the show notes, and then you'll just head to the profitable email training section of the toolkit and check that out. So if you are starting your brand, or you're launching your first digital product because you want that passive sales system set up, or you're pivoting to a new direction in your brand and online business, just know that you don't need a huge following. You don't need viral videos to be successful. You don't need to chase all these trends and hacks. You do need a strategy. You need the bones of your business to be strategic and systematic. You need a simple offer, a connection-driven email sequence, and consistency. Whether you drive that consistency in traffic and sharing content through ads so that you have more time freedom, or you show up consistently driving organic content. And if you're ever unsure about what step to take next, I am always over in Maverick Society. You can come in, you can ask questions any day of the week, Monday through Friday, or you can hop on one of our weekly Q&A coaching calls and get the advisement and next steps that you need to keep it moving. But you are already doing the hardest part, which is showing up for your business. So I'm so thankful for your time. I'm proud of you for showing up here, for listening in, and then for taking an action. Hopefully, that's the most important part, is take an action following this podcast episode. And if you do, I would love to hear, what action did you take? Share in your stories, tag me. I would love to dialogue with you and see if you got value out of this episode. So until our next episode, or I see you over in the Maverick Society, cheers to your impact. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got a ton of value. And if you did, I would really appreciate if you would rate, subscribe, and review this podcast. It really helps push out the message that I have to share with other female entrepreneurs. Thank you so much.